What up, and welcome back to Popular by Purpose. My name is Miguel the Barber, and you're tuning in to another episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that follow button. Hit the notification button as well, and stay up to date. Go ahead, Mo. Tell them who we got today.
What's up, guys? It's Mo the Barber here at Popular Hair Studio. I'm bringing you another special guest this week. This guy, his time is very valuable. Really appreciate him being here. I really want to get right into this episode. His story, his come up is so motivational.
Amen.
He's the executive director of recruiting for the UCF football team. Just want to welcome my dog, Alex Mathis. What's up, baby?
What's up, brother? What's up? What's up?
Boy.
Coach, welcome.
Welcome back,
Happy
Coach.
to be here.
Welcome.
Seriously, man, we appreciate you being here,
Love,
bro.
brother, love.
We know for all you guys that are out there that don't know how busy a D1 coach's life is, any coach in any sport, how busy they are. Me being a barber, cutting so many different professionals, I've seen so many busy professions. I don't know if I can name another one more than a football coach. You know, especially with recruiting, that's a all year round job. You know, there's barely any time off. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you work so many hours.
Yeah,
too.
no, it's insane. So we really appreciate you being
Thank
here,
you
bro.
so
Like
much.
seriously,
Yeah, fellas, appreciate it.
mid-season
Appreciate
form. We're really excited to have you here,
I
bro.
appreciate it.
We're gonna go ahead and get right to the nitty gritty soon, but we gotta start the backstory. We always like to take it all the way back. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Tell us where you're from, where were you born, a little bit about your town, and let's take it from there.
It's crazy part, so I'm from a small town called Willacoochee, Georgia. I don't tell many people that because it's very small, they don't know where it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of town, if you blink, you miss it. But that's where, you know, everybody knew everybody. If there was a house fire, everybody left the house to go stand outside and watch the house. You know what I mean? Type stuff like that. But I moved around. My mom, we moved to Valdosta, Georgia for a little bit. We left Valdosta and went to Waycross, and that's where I kind of say I grew up from first grade up to graduation. Stayed there. That's where I call home. My mom still lives there, and that's where I graduated high school, and that's the crib. So, but I was born in another small town called Douglas, Georgia, Coffee County. So, South Georgia boy.
Before the other small city.
Before the other small, I'm a small city guy.
Would you say
guy.
you're closer to the Florida-Georgia line or closer to Atlanta? That's just to put in
That's a
perspective.
great question.
That's a great way to put it.
You know,
Right?
us Georgia people,
Yeah.
you know, you got Atlanta, Georgia, and you got Georgia. I'm from Georgia, so I'm from South
That's-
Georgia.
So closest to Florida-Georgia line.
Yeah, so like-
So it's southern, more southern.
Southern, like an hour away from Florida, hour away from Jacksonville.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a great point of reference. Another interesting point about Florida and Georgia, for those who don't know or aren't from Florida, honestly, that area tends to be a lot of little small towns that get put together. About how many people would you say, if you could put an estimate, that lived in your town growing up?
The small one that I grew up in, it was 1,200 people.
Damn.
Wow.
1,200 people. We looked
Just-
it up the other day. We were comparing my homeboy coach with us, Coach T. Reed. He's from Thibodaux, Louisiana. We were trying to say, you know, look and see who had the smallest town. And his is like 8,000. And I'm like, hey, I got 1,200 people, bro.
As we speak.
1,200 people.
Yeah,
Bro.
that's
Look at the
crazy.
census.
That's crazy.
1,200 people,
Where
man.
did you go to school at?
So, it's crazy. So the elementary school was pre-K through 8th grade. And then when you got to high school, you had to catch a bus and drive to a town called Pearson, Georgia, which was like 25 minutes. And that's where Tyreek Hill's from.
Oh, cool.
Where Tyreek Hill's from.
Hey,
so,
Tyreek.
Atkinson County. And it was just weird, but I didn't stay there all through grade school. I moved, you know, other places, but it's small. Everybody knew everybody. Like I was driving around in my dad's car when I was 10.
Yeah.
You know, so the cops ain't really bother you.
Yeah.
Man, I was riding my bike to go get my granddad's cigarettes.
Yeah,
He had a tab at the store. Like,
Is it real
that's how
country?
crazy Oh, it's country.
Country, yeah.
Country. So
Good food.
good food.
Good
like
food. Countrymen, good food.
Yeah, facts.
you know, when I got into coaching, I went to go back to go see my grandmother and stuff like that. I would take my players with me. And there was this restaurant called Sambo's, like go order from a window. And we went and ordered like 5 burgers, cheese sticks, all kind of stuff. And it was like $14. It was like, man, it's like this here. I'm like, yeah, small town, bro.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Oh, nice. That's
Still
what's
there.
up. And do you go often? Whenever you can? Is that
I've
somewhere
not
that you
been
want
back
to
in a
go?
while.
Oh, really?
I would love to get back. Shout out to family in Willacoochee, Georgia. Hadn't been in a while. I need to call him, but it just so busy.
Yeah, of
so
course,
busy.
of course.
That totally makes sense. Talking about small town and schools, so you went to a high school somewhere else, you were saying?
I did.
What
I
was
did.
that?
Waycross, Georgia. I graduated from Ware County High School.
How many
So
kids
it's
were
a
in
little-
that school?
It's a little bit bigger. That's a
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, that's what I was gonna
bigger
ask.
area, but still small when you look at the
'Cause
Orlando, Florida, Jacksonville.
Yeah,
if you
of
look at
course.
right here, University High School, when I graduated, it was 3,600 kids that were in that school. You said 1,200. I said
Yeah,
that was my
about
graduating class.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,200 my graduating class.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it being in that room and being spread out in the city. That's insane.
But when you said that put in perspective, I was like, wow.
That's real. But my high school, it was a little different. I don't know how many people I graduated with, but
But it was a lot bigger.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
a lot
okay.
bigger. So still a small town feel, but bigger than where I grew up at. And after graduating, I moved to Brunswick, Georgia, where my kids live now,
Nice.
which is an hour away too. So. And that's bigger, so it's kind of been a gradual, just going up,
bigger and bigger.
seeing more people. So, but Waycross is cool, man. That's still home for me. Still talk to all of my people back home, and my kids, they play sports in those cities, so it's cool to go back and
That's cool.
and talk to those people. And I still talk to some of them daily. So,
So speaking of sports, how did you get into sports?
I grew up playing sports as a jit. So.
You're saying jit now.
A jit.
You wasn't saying jit in Georgia.
I wasn't saying jit in Georgia. Nah, but just growing up playing, the T-balls, the basketballs, the footballs, and things like that. Got to middle school, started playing sports, but then I was actually a troubled kid who didn't really play a lot of sports. I was pretty good at baseball. And I'll never forget the day, my 8th grade year, probably the worst year I've ever had in school. We had a little ISS building, and I spent a lot of my time in that building.
Really?
And, got time for baseball season. The baseball coach knew who I was and came up to me and said, "Hey man, you can't play, you're ineligible. You've been in ISS too many times." So
Oh, wow.
I'll never forget that day, and I can say that kind of was a downfall for me, like mentally, like it just kind of gave up a little bit, so I quit sports altogether.
What grade?
That was 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
Quit altogether. Quit playing sports. I actually joined the band because I wanted to go on all the trips that they went on, like free trips or whatever.
did band?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
bro.
did band. I did music I actually did that from 6th grade all the way up to 12th grade. So
What did you play any
I
instruments in there?
could play any brass instrument, but I got a guitar at home and had a keyboard and stuff, played around with it. So
That's fine.
I like music, but I love sports too. But just, I really got into sports. I always loved it, watched it, studied it. You have kids who you ask them what they want to be when they grow up. Like for me, I never wanted to be an NFL player, NBA player. I wanted to be Theo Epstein. It was the GM of the Red Sox. That's who I wanted to be. Like I wanted to be that guy that they panned the camera to, and I'm in the stands with my suit on, and I was the GM. I constructed the David Ortiz, the Manny
Nice,
Ramirez, the Pedro Martinez. I wanted to be that guy growing up.
Fire.
So it's crazy to see kind of where I am now.
Yeah, honestly, you surprised me saying that you was a trouble kid. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I known you for, was it 3 years now?
Yeah.
I've known you for 3 years, man, and I know about you, but being a trouble kid, I'm very surprised. I definitely thought you were a high school top athlete, all this stuff going
far
on,
from
all
that.
these accolades, you know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy because that's a chip on my shoulder. Like people how he in this position he in and he ain't played.
Yeah. And that's what you're here for today, man, to tell this story.
So it's cool, man.
It's insane because your name rings bells out here. I'm sure every recruit in the country knows who Coach Mathis is at UCF.
Oh, I ain't that big.
Nah, you that big, dog. You the executive director of recruiting at
It's
UCF.
just a title, bro. Just working, bro.
Yeah.
I
I
like
know,
the humble.
I know.
I like the humble. Being humble in life is important. But we also gotta accept where we're at and where we're going. You know what I'm
True.
saying? And if we don't set goals, setting a goal and trying to attack it full
Right.
speed, it's a thin line of someone who doesn't understand where you're coming from saying, oh, that guy's not humble. But we know you're from a small town, forced to grow up. For those who don't know how the South works, in those small towns, you are forced to grow up very fast.
Absolutely.
I totally understand that 8th grade getting in trouble. So I want to just bring it back to a sort of personal part here. Did you have your mom and your dad both in your life at the same time, or how did that work growing
So
up?
my mom and my dad got a divorce or separated when I was kindergarten, maybe first grade, but my dad was around, but not daily. You know what I mean? So it was just mom and, mom worked multiple jobs, went to college and things
got
like
siblings?
that. I got a younger brother. We're 22 months apart, so and we're totally different. We're totally different.
But look the same though.
We look the same.
Yeah,
We're totally
I met him
different.
at the game.
That's funny.
I
get
literally
that.
walked up to him and was like, "You Mathis' brother?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but just it was a lot. Like I had to grow up early. Looking back on it, like I missed out on a lot of stuff that I wish I could have done as a high school kid and stuff like that because I had to go home or take care of things like that. And it is what it is. Like the way I grew up kind of shaped the way I'm a parent now to my boys. So,
Amen.
not saying it was bad. It's just I would have did things differently, So, my mom worked hard for us though. Like I think, looking back on it too, like it probably strained our relationship a little bit because of just the way I had to grow up and just wishing things could have been certain ways, but nobody's to blame for that. It was just the cards we were dealt at that time. So,
I love
And
that.
it's funny because you're the first person on this show that like relates to us when it comes to a single mom. Just because really all we had was our moms growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for you saying that, we totally understand, bro.
sure.
And it's just crazy. It's so motivational to be that way, man. And it's like growing up without a father. People that have a father think it's so delusional, so crazy. You know what I'm saying? That you don't have a dad. Oh my God. But really, when you don't have it, it's like normal to you. So kids with dads, it's kind of like weird to us in a sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, damn, well, you have a dad. That's kind of weird, bro. And they think like when they bring up a father, it's like so emotional for us. For me, I mean, maybe for you because you knew him a little bit. For me, I didn't know mine at all. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to dad talk, I don't get emotional at all.
It was still weird though, just even now thinking about just being, a parent of 3 boys, like just it was tough for me in the beginning when they were born, like showing them affection, like hugging them and stuff like that, telling them I love them and stuff because I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
So I try to be better now. Like we'll hang up the phone sometimes. I gotta do it better saying it, every time we get off the phone. The baby boy, he tell me every time.
Yeah.
The oldest, he's a little too cool to do it now, but I still love him though, both
Yeah.
of them. So, but I need to be better when it comes to that, but it was just how I was conditioned, just not hearing that or seeing that daily. It does shape you,
Yeah,
so.
100%.
And I get where that comes from because I have like a 5-year-old I love. Shout out Josiah, I love you, baby. I love my son and when you're not giving, my mom, she's a Christian lady. I was raised faith driven. I know you were too. And so that kind of came with this like stigma, like God's gonna provide, like don't worry about it. And sometimes like she's so busy with her 3-4 jobs, getting 4 kids to feed. Like you said it best. Like I don't hold her against anything, no grudges. But you learn from those mistakes to try to provide. And it was a different era. In that era, you didn't have social media or ways to do things online. Things that I take for granted, like going to the bank to pay a bill and spending all Saturday doing that. You know how crazy it is?
Yeah.
Like I just be on the phone, FaceTime, hey, it's money sent, Like a look. So I get that concept, but having a kid, bro, totally changed my whole perspective in life. And I understand with 3 kids for sure, that changed a lot in your
Boy
life.
dad's over here. He only got 3 boys.
That's a blessing.
3 boys, man.
Blessing,
Shout out.
blessing.
I give him a shout out.
Yeah.
Keegan, my 16-year-old, Cameron, my 13-year-old, and Cade, my 9-year-old. And they all here with me in Orlando this weekend. They live back in South Georgia, so shout out to y'all. Y'all show all y'all friends to get y'all some followers on Instagram, TikTok, whatever y'all gotta do.
And I got the pleasure to know those kids and cut their hair. And man, you do a great job, bro. I gotta give you your flowers. My shirt say give you flowers.
Yeah, their mom does a good job too. So.
Yeah, okay. I haven't met her. I'm sure she does. Because the way those boys are shaped, man. I mean, they're on the path to be great men.
Appreciate
honestly.
it, brother. Appreciate it.
Amen.
I don't want to jump into your boys and stuff. We'll get into that. I kind of want to go back into the coaching, like how coaching got started in your life.
All right, for me, like I ended up going to college. Took a little break, graduate, try to figure out what you're gonna do or whatever.
Where'd you go? Sorry.
In Brunswick, I ended up moving to Brunswick with my boy's mom, and just worked for a little bit, and I decided to go to school. So got into college.
What was the age gap there?
From going to school,
graduating.
graduating.
Yeah.
maybe 2-3 years.
That's beautiful.
2 or 3
I'm pro
years.
taking a break. I don't want my son to go to school after high
Yeah.
school. I think
And
he needs a
for
break.
me,
Yeah.
I had no direction. Like I had things I could have done after graduating, but like I had music scholarships. Like crazy, I could have went to Bethune-Cookman for music, but I didn't know how to start. Like just whatever. So I just worked and ended up moving, worked for a little bit, and then started college. And the most embarrassing thing I'll say this. So it's crazy. Me and my son talked about this today. So he's a pretty smart kid, like a 4.2 GPA. And he said, "What was your GPA in high school?" It was like a 2.0. He was like, "How you graduate with that?" I'm like, "Barely," like barely. So, and we know like the most embarrassing thing was trying to apply and get in college and try to, explain to people that I'm not the person that was on my transcript anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not this person that made all these F's and D's. I've grown and matured over those years. So got into school, met some cool people at the College of Coastal Georgia in Brunswick, Georgia. Went to school there, did my undergrad, and then they started an education program at the school. And cool story, bro. Like I applied to get into the education program, and I got denied. And one of my best friends, shout out Craig Harrison, he just applied just to be in the education program because I did, and he got in. He got in, so I'm so thankful for him. He sat down next to me, he said, "Bro, this ain't my dream, this your dream." He went to the dean of the education department and said, "I don't want this spot, my best friend does. Can I give you his spot?"
That's real.
So he gave me his spot. I got in the education program and graduated. He's in the Air Force now. Graduated and started teaching in middle school. And I reached out to the head coach of the football team, Coach Reddins, and asked, "Hey, can I help with the football team?" And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna start practice and come on out." So kind of where it started, just coaching middle school ball. And of course my boys were born and I coached their teams and things like that. But that's how it started. And then from there, it's just, I go back and look at pictures of my first middle school football game I coached. And then I got a picture update for my game on, our first game here at UCF, and, 56-something thousand people in the background. Just
that's beautiful.
How life changes in 10 years, it's crazy. So
If you don't mind me asking, just because for people who don't know how band works, sometimes you could be in a group of 50 people, 60 people, and you have to all be in sync. Similar to football, let's say 11 in a position, you're playing instruments. Some people don't realize that you don't just go there and start playing a solo. You're playing like on beat, on tempo. It's similar to football in a sense. If that guy's running a route, or if this, everyone has to play their part perfectly. If not, they know what the scheme is. Do you think that might have helped you a little bit to understand how things can correlate together when you coach? Some of your musical background, and maybe being on beat or something like that.
And just for me, like I just grew up a people person altogether. Like for
That's
me,
amazing.
like my approach to coaching was always relationships. Just getting to know my players, getting to know how they were good, being able to relate to them, talk to them, and then I had to learn the X's and the O's part of it. I was raw. Like I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I got on the football field. But just learn. You know what I mean? But for me, it was just always being good to people. Like being good to people, and everything else took care of itself.
It's a skill in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, they're similar. Like they help you in learning how to work with people, work together for a common goal, and that branches into the band, sports, work, whatever it is. So it all to me intertwines. But for me, it was just always being good to people and building relationships with people.
That's incredible.
And you've spent 10 years coaching before you got to UCF, right?
Yeah, 11 years.
11 years.
11 years.
I saw you won a state championship. Was it once?
I did. We won a state championship. That was crazy. We should have won two. So I finished middle school ball, and then I went over to a private school on St. Simon's Island called Frederica Academy. And that was crazy. So I had two kids, one of them which is like my little brother. Both of them like my little brothers, but Jalen's actually like my cousin. They both went over to Frederica Academy, and it being a private school, people look down on it. you know. So at that time, people felt like I was telling the kids to go to school there and kind of got blackballed a little bit. So
Like recruiting in a sense, you're saying?
that's what they were
trying to say.
Trying to say. But they ended up going to school at that private school, and the coach, Brandon Derrick, offered me a job, and I went over with him. So a lot of people think it was the other way around. Some people still feel some type of way about it, but let it go. Let it go. It's over with. It's what it is.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah, we went over to Frederick Academy, and we were able to win a state championship. Jalen and Jay Sean's senior year.
Nice.
The year before, we should have won. Man, we led that whole game.
You went to the States?
Now with the semifinals, and the team we lost to in the semifinals went on to
Win it all.
win it all.
Man.
Sick, and we had to beat.
Yeah.
But we won, man. That was one of the best feelings ever. Just that time and effort you put into something, and beating the naysayers, like proving them wrong, like all those things. You know, we were able to prove people wrong. Like even just going to that school, people said that, you know, Jalen and Jay Sean would never be recruited. You know, and Jay Sean was an Under Armour All-American. Jalen just got drafted this year by the Indianapolis Colts.
4th round.
Wow.
It's just
For
me, it's just like, man, like man don't know your destiny.
There's no better feeling. I always say this than working hard. Like you said, like I said this earlier, staying humble, working hard, and proving people wrong. That feeling is like you don't gotta say nothing. The air comes out the room. You stay quiet. They doubt you. They doubt you. They doubt you, and you say okay, and you put your head down and you work. And next thing you know, they're over there like, hey, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? You stay humble, but they see you now. There's no choice.
And for me, man, like what gets me going is someone telling me I can't do something.
Oh,
Facts, every time.
Tell me I can't do something, I'm about to show you.
And some people ain't built like that though. Some people shut down and listen.
I'm about to show you. Like, and I've done a good job. We did a good job. We proved a lot of people wrong, and I get why they had the thoughts they had about us going there. But
what did you coach there?
Started off as, you know, coaching in the secondary, then moved up a couple of years later with some coaching changes and stuff like that. Coach made me the DC, and then I was like the assistant head coach.
Nice.
And then I moved on from there to get back into public school. Worked at 2 schools in 2 years before I got the call here. So I was at a school called Brantley County, then Glenn Academy, where my son goes to school now.
Nice.
Back in Brunswick, Georgia. So.
Would you say there was something special about that state championship team? No shade on the other teams you've coached, but was there just something special about that team?
It was. We battled a lot of adversity early on. I think we started off the season 0-3.
Oh, wow.
I want to say we started off 0-3. Coach always challenged us. He made the hardest schedule at the beginning of the year, just to test our guys and, you know, get them to come together. So we struggled. We had some outside people try to create drama.
Yeah.
But we were able to overcome it, and we lost to the team that we beat in the playoff, in the championship game. We lost 14-13 in overtime, and then we went on to the state championship game and beat that team 48-0 in the state championship game.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. There were so many cool stories within that whole season that we'd be here all night talking about it, you know. But it was definitely special. I got a replica state championship trophy in my living room right now. I got my ring in my living room. I see that every day, man. It's just like I did that. Well, we did that. So it was cool to have that.
So we know you worked. For Cam Newton and his 7-on-7 team. Everybody knows about the 7-on-7 with Cam Newton. So many viral videos, so much talent that came out of there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How'd you get plugged in with that? And how was it, man?
I was at Frederick Academy, and got a phone call one day from a reporter, and he was like, "Hey, Cam Newton's trying to start a third 7-on-7 team, and want to know if you want to be the head coach." So I'm like, "Yeah."
You didn't even know who he was?
I knew who Cam was.
I'm saying like a personal relationship.
Yeah, I knew the reporter because he was doing articles on the guys at my school. So he knew of me. He knew, that I was well connected in the South Georgia area. So the concept was to have 2 teams in the Atlanta area and 1 South Georgia team. So I had from Macon, Georgia down, both coasts. So I was able to hire staff, a bunch of great guys. Shout out to Coach Glenn, Coach Sapp, Trap, Speedy, Coach Cross, all you guys. So I'm so thankful for y'all guys, man. Without y'all, I don't know if I'd be here. So appreciate y'all.
Bless
you. Yeah, that opportunity was crazy. I'm so thankful for Cam. Just put me in that position, and I was able to see Cam 2 years ago. He came up to the school and shared a moment of me thanking him just for that opportunity because I felt like it opened up the door to where I am now.
Nice.
But that was such a cool experience, bro. I got to be around some dogs.
Go ahead, let me hear what you got there.
You ready?
I heard.
Quarterback was Bo Nix.
Oh man.
Sam Howell.
Wow.
Sam Howell played with us a couple times. George Pickens.
Oh man.
I got to see that in practice. George Pickens. My bro Jalen Simpson was the corner. We had Javon Baker, Jaheim Bell. There's so many names, man. We were so blessed to have the kids that we had in C1N.
They all from South Georgia?
Georgia. Well, George is from Alabama. George Pickens was, and Bo was from Alabama, but
all from the South.
All from the South, man. And it was fun. Practices were so fun.
South crazy.
Practices were so fun. It sucked getting there. Now, I'll tell you, the crappiest part about the situation was, picking up kids from on the East Coast of Georgia and the West Coast and meeting in Macon, and driving up to Atlanta to practice on a Sunday. Knowing you got school.
How long would that commute take on average?
About 5 hours.
Ooh. You would go both ways? You had someone meeting you?
So no, I had my group of, my other coaches were on in Valdosta, Georgia, which is the west coast of Georgia.
Okay.
And I was on the east. So I would go up to Savannah, Georgia and pick up guys, and then drive over to Macon. And then we would meet in Macon and drive up to Atlanta.
What you was whipping?
So it was cool, man. I networked and had some friends who worked at dealerships, and they would loan us the 15-passenger vans.
Nice.
On both coasts. So shout out to Dan Vade and Chevy in Savannah, Georgia. Mark Covington, man, appreciate y'all. In exchange, all I had to give him was some signed pictures from Cam Newton.
Nice.
So that was it. That was it. So definitely a blessing, and it was such a cool experience, man. That opened up so many doors for me, and I met so many people, and some of the people I work with now here at UCF, such a small world. So
plugged you in a lot of people out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Dope, man.
So definitely a blessing.
Since we're talking about talent, I just got a quick question.
Yep.
A little off topic, but you are a recruiter.
Yeah. All right, know what's coming.
Yeah, you already know. Where's the talent at, man? Give me top 3 cities, top 3 states. Give me anything, and
top 3 counties. You can get
It
rid
don't
of.
gotta be present. It could be all time.
I'm gonna give you states.
Okay.
Give me states.
I gotta pick the home team. Georgia boys.
Okay.
I take it.
Okay, but that's number 2 though.
Yeah.
Florida
I'm gonna
one.
go Florida.
Florida. Don't 2.
I'm gonna go Florida. And then it's a toss up when you get there.
Yeah.
For me, I will say this. Let's do this. Let's do Georgia and Florida because of how tight.
1A, 1B.
1A, 1B, and then you get 2.
I ain't going 1A, 1B. I'm going
Georgia,
Florida.
That's fair.
And then my number 3, it's a toss-up.
3A, 3B. How about that?
I think you can go Texas.
For sure.
And I think you gotta go Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Wow.
Forget about Louisiana.
People
forget about Louisiana a lot.
But Cali got a lot of talent too.
But listen though, per capita, I can shout out T. Reed, man.
I believe Louisiana.
He'll kill me for saying this, but he has made me a believer in Louisiana when you think about it.
Crazy. No, you're not
there's some dogs in Louisiana.
Dogs.
Yeah, there's some dogs. There's some dogs. So
yeah,
you got to think about Jamar Chase.
Yeah, of course.
CeeDee Lamb.
There's so many.
All the wide receivers that are making bread in the league right now.
Even back in the day, Ryan Clark, Leonard Fournette, all these guys. Yeah.
Louisiana, so you got to put them up there.
Yeah.
Who was the dude that played with Odell at LSU?
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. I don't know where I don't know.
I thought he was from South
Florida. Odell Beckham's from there.
He played at LSU.
Oh, okay.
Odell Beckham's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's my boy be doing the gritty?
Jay Jettas. I was thinking
from
about him
Louisiana too.
Yeah, I didn't know.
They all from Louisiana.
Yeah, they on the come up. They still 4 though. Chill out.
Hey, that's how you the recruiter, girl.
They got dogs, bro. But I still pick my Georgia boys, man.
Facts. So we know you also did a lot of things for the community. And one of the coolest things that we were talking about that you did, since we're barbers, is Terra's Chop Shop program. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it was cool. So when I got back to Brunswick after my year in Brantley, my homeboy who's a barber, shout out LaRon in Brunswick, Georgia, had this idea of, hey bro, how about we, put a barbershop in your field house, and we record it, put it on YouTube, kind of what you guys are doing now. And I was like, you know what, let me see, So I went to the head coach, Glen Academy, Rocky Hidalgo, and I shot my idea. He slid the card, get what you got to get. So I hit up LaRon, I'm like, hey, what we need? So we found a barber chair, found some lights, found the little rubber mat that went around, and bought ring cameras, whatever it was, we bought it. And I reached out to several different barbers in the area, and I'm like, hey, this is a situation. You can do it for free if you want. You can give us a discounted price for the guys if you want to come in one day a week and cut. And we're gonna record it. You chop it up with the guys. Let's just keep it real. And it was a success, man. I got some old footage from that, man. Hopefully one day I can put it out. But it was cool. Just I love community. Like that's my thing. I love giving back. That gets me going, and I love what that moment looked like. You know what I mean? Just sitting in that field house and having a barber chair, and I remember my baby boy was sitting on my lap at that time, and our guys getting cuts, and they coach, I'm clean. Look at me like, check my cut out. And it was cool, man. It was just things that when you do it, you're like, this is why we did it. For sure. This is why we did it. So but it was cool, man. It was some of the stuff we talked about was cool, and some of the guys who came in to cut were guys that a lot of our players looked up to. Had been in their shoes, that played, and didn't always make the right decisions, but hearing it from guys they looked up from in the community was really good. It was impactful.
Yeah, when I was coaching as a kid, shout out Jamie and Beluso. I was a rookie to the. I only coached 1 year in high school, coached O-line, and everybody took a knee. And at the end of every practice, we had every kid say their name, where they're from, because they didn't have like a family going on yet. We just got there, and 5 kids at the end of every practice, they had to go up, say the name, where they want to be in 5 years. And I'm paying attention, but I'm just listening to every kid's story, laughing, And then that kid, Jamie, and he looked at me, he was like, when it was time to say 5 years, he was like, I want to be like Coach Mo, I want to be a barber. And I was like, whoa, chill out. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting that at all. Yeah. So he hit me with that, and it was just like, that's what kept me going with coaching. You know what I'm saying? I wish I was still coaching. It was so fun. I'll go back to it one day, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's moments like that, man. Is there any memorable moments? I know there's a million. Yeah. And with Terra's Chop Shop, I know the best part is seeing those kids, and you're not getting on them for practice. It's not football, going on. It's just kicking back and getting cuts, man.
It's too many to pinpoint, man. I got kids who are incarcerated right now that hit me up and message me, and I spend $10 a month to take them back. You know what I mean? So it's not just one. So many kids have had an impact on my life, like even non-sports kids, just from being in the classroom. Too many. It's just way too many. It's been so much that has happened over my course of being an educator, for sure. So
how old are you, Coach?
I'm 37 years old, man.
Hey, you look young.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Baby.
Appreciate it.
It's the cut, chill out.
Hey, it's the cut, yeah. Shout out to Mo.
Yeah, come on, man.
Shout out to Mo.
And since we're on that topic, before we get into the UCF path and stuff, I do want to thank you, bro. For real. Bro. I was cutting UCF football players for a long time. Something happened where I stopped. There was nothing too crazy. I could say it on camera. Had a fallout with a player, and I really didn't care anymore about it. I wanted to do it deep down, and then I met you. I don't remember how. Was it T-Will or was it you?
T-Will at Kmart. I needed a cut. And I was like, who I need to go to? They said, man, hit up Mo.
Yeah.
I hit him up, and he ain't text me back for a minute.
Everybody
texted me back for a minute. I was like, well, I need to find somebody else. But he finally hit me back, and he was like, come through at 7 a.m., something crazy. And that's when I was on East Colonial. We were on East Colonial, so pulled up there, and the rest been history.
Yeah, for sure, man. I really
appreciate it. From there to the little shopping Oviedo next to Publix.
Yeah, you seen the come up, man.
Yeah, to here now. So
I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen most text thread, it's like 700
Oh,
messages.
double that.
Yeah, no, I got it. I bet I got. Let me see what I got.
I bet you got that too.
you
I don't.
beat, bro.
I got OCD.
I promise
I
you.
got
You want to
delete them.
compete?
I promise
I
you, pull
believe
it
it.
out.
I believe it. I believe it.
I gotta be at
Hold up.
1500.
I be like, how y'all do that?
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Bottom.
Nah, he got you by
Nah.
500, 600, you heard?
Let me see.
Look, that'd be crazy.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Look, I can't do it, bro. I
1800.
got OCD. When I
It
see
don't
that picture, I be
even. I
like,
used to, but it don't even. I don't care no more.
it makes sense. It makes sense because
don't
you
care
guys
no
are so busy.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are so busy, and let's bring this real quick. Talking about this, you did coach your kids for a little
I
bit.
did. Yeah, I coached them until I moved here.
Was it hard to separate like coaching and fatherhood? Because I got a kid and I love basketball myself, but I always get scared that if I ever coach him, he's like, because my wife be like, why don't you put him in sports? And I haven't forced, you know this, I haven't forced nothing. Because I told wifey, I said, this is a different version of me. Like when it comes to sports, I don't want to, you know, I baby
I'll
him, I
say
don't want to
this.
be there.
I wish the oldest was. He's sitting over there. I wish he was mic'd up right now. He can answer that for you. But I was hard on him.
Yeah, you gotta be.
I was hard on him, like maybe too hard at times. But I think it's made him who he is now. You know what I mean? Just like it was some days when we ain't talking in the car on the way home from a sporting event. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I'm really like, I created a beast because he's so bad with his younger brothers now. Like he probably worse than me, and I was on him, like with them. But he knew that I only wanted the best for him. You know what I mean? And just trying to get the best out of him. But it was some days he got jacked up and called some names out there. You know, but.
I feel the same way. Like me personally, like I don't think I'd be able to completely separate myself. Like I'm a type of person, like I like things done right. Mo obviously knows this. And man, like I love basketball. The day if my son ever picks up a basketball on his own or boxing,
It's on?
it's on, bro. Because it's like I won't, I ain't gonna, you can't. It's like you want this, right? You chose it. I didn't put it on your hand. Now,
The biggest advice
Sit.
I got is when you get in the car, turn it off.
amen. That makes
Turn
sense.
it off.
That's the hardest part.
It ends on
That's
the field.
the
You know what I'm
hardest
saying? You
part.
get off the court.
It's
done.
hard. It's hard
It's
because
hard. It gotta
man,
be.
I get in the car. I had to really think about it. Man, why you struck out? He ain't go out there trying to strike out. You know what I mean? But like, you gotta. Like I'm a whole lot better now. Like when I get in the car, I don't even say nothing until he ready to talk. Like some days we'll be in the car for 45 minutes and finally say he wants something to eat. You know what I mean? Now I know we good to talk now. You know what I mean? But I love the passion. Like all three of my boys that way. They hate to lose, and I love that because I worked in some places where when they lost, they were still in the locker room playing, and I ain't raised my kids that way. Like we don't quit, and we want to win. You know, so. And that's in everything, not just sports. So
Those are huge. I was just gonna say those are huge life skills, man.
right.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's about pushing
and then they have that. Like might not be the best, but we're gonna work hard.
For sure.
So
And I see that in the boys. They
Yeah.
got it. How old were you when your first one was born? 20, 21?
22, 21, 22.
A young father, man. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
was there to tell you, hey, don't
Nah.
do that. Hey,
Yeah.
turn it off in the car. He was just,
And it's crazy because I was, I guess a non-traditional college student. So he was going to class with me.
oh, wow.
And if I had a class, like some of my homeboys watched him, Craig watched him sometimes, or the cheerleaders on the little basketball team would watch him, or the basketball players would watch him when I had class. So he grew up a little different, but it was cool, man. It's me and him tight. That's like my
Yeah, I see it.
my BFF right there.
Yeah,
That's
for
fire.
sure.
That's fire. I was gonna ask you, do you feel like children help sort of keep purpose in your life?
Absolutely.
Like, and motivations?
Absolutely, to me, it gives you life direction. You know what I mean? So, that was the toughest part about me taking this job. Coming to UCF was, that was my why, that was my purpose, and I was leaving it. You know what I mean? So, and honestly, Keegan was the main reason I came on. I don't know if I ever told him this. I was getting ready to tell Gus no. I was getting ready to tell Coach Malzahn no, I wasn't taking the job, and he sent me a long message telling me on why I should take the job and how he would be good and how he would make sure his brothers were straight. So
Wow.
I took the job off that text message.
Yeah.
Like I was really gonna say no, so took it, and it's been months into the job. We talked, and he was like, we see you a little bit more than what we thought we were gonna see you. You know, so that was my biggest fear in the whole thing was not being present. Even though I'm not present now, like I felt guilty in the beginning. Like I felt like a bad father in the beginning for leaving, but we good, man. Like shout out to Coach Malzahn and Miss Christie. Like that's family for me, but they allowed me to go back and go to sporting events, school stuff, whatever. So I put 85,000 miles on my car in 2 years from hitting I-4 and 95 going home, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, bro. Sure. Just being there on Wednesdays for a middle school game or Thursdays for a JV game or whatever for a game. So that was valuable for me. And, you know, what a blessing, your first college job to be 3 hours away from your kids. You know, like most people have to move away.
It's only 3 hours?
It's only 3 hours.
Yeah, I always thought it was fun.
Yeah, 3 hours. So I'll bust them 6 hours out yesterday. I'm gonna hit them again tomorrow to take them home. And it's easy.
Was it when you started coaching in high school or middle school or just coaching in general, did you want to get to this level?
It's crazy. I did. I didn't know what it looked like. You know, people would call and say, hey, if I ever got an opportunity, I'll hire you to do this. And it's crazy you asked me that. Before I got this phone call, I kind of had just given up on that whole idea of getting to this level.
A dream.
I was just like, man, it ain't never gonna happen. Like, I'm just gonna work and retire as a teacher and call it quits, man. And I'll never forget that day I got that phone call. I was actually leaving Savannah Christian from coaching a JV baseball game. I was on the bus. We had just got back home in Brunswick, Georgia, and looked at my phone. It was Coach Malzahn calling me, and it wasn't uncommon. He would call me and, hey, you know of any kids that might want to transfer here to Auburn or whatever it was? Well, yeah, when he was at Auburn. Yeah. But this time it was like, Coach, I ain't got nothing. He was like, that ain't why I'm calling you. Like, I got a position that came available. You might be perfect for it. And honestly, it was the worst timing in my entire life. Like at that moment, you know, just going through some family changes, family dynamics and things like that. And probably the last phone call I needed to have. Like my life was crazy, you know, just trying to figure out everything, you know, and then I got that phone call and just changed everything, you know. And he told me, it was like, hey, you trust me, I'm gonna help change your life and help change your boy's life. So, you know, and I'm here, so.
So it's crazy because it's something that you prayed for, that you wanted so bad, and now it's in front of you and now you're debating it.
Ah, crazy, bro.
That's insane.
And you know, I called Coach Cannon. That's like, we were at Frederica together. Shout out Coach Derrick, Coach Burkett, Coach Cannon. Like I called Coach Cannon and he knew the situation I was going through family-wise. And I was like, man, Coach, like, this is what I always wanted, and why now? Why now? And he told me some passages to read in the Bible and some prayers to put up. And he said, you know, you'll know. And one thing he told me was, you know, God's not gonna put it on the billboard for you. Like, he's not gonna tell you to take the job. You know, it's gonna be a feeling, and you're just gonna know. You know, his words are gonna be apparent to you, and you're gonna know when it's time to make a move, if you're gonna make the move. And that still sticks with me now to this day, those words that he gave me. But I prayed about it, and it was so hard jumping off that porch, bro. Like, just the unknown. Like, I ain't had nowhere to live when I moved here, you know? So it was just taking a leap of faith and coming.
I want to cover on this because he said jumping off the porch. Before we cover your 43 miles, for those who don't know, you come from a small town, you stay in a small area, you grow in that small area. But prior to that, I've always felt like growing up, I grew up in faith. And Mo is a man of faith as well, and obviously you are as well. And I think it's so important to understand that God has a way of organizing your life. And we just don't understand that. Or we don't get why we're going through this, or why we live to this moment. But if you just let him guide you, it falls in place in the order like that coach that I told you. That's the best advice he gave you. He said, you'll know, like, it's not written on a billboard. You got to pay attention. That's discernment. You got to, and it does fall in there, man. And with that being said, obviously jumping off the porch, you know, for those who don't know, the South got a lot of porches.
Yeah.
Jumping off the porch must have been hard. Can you explain, like, how you went from this little, you know, 50-mile radius to just Just coming out here.
Nah, man, it was I'm a sneakerhead, man. I'm gonna tell y'all.
Go ahead, go ahead.
At that moment, had a Honda Accord, bro. Like I packed up 30 boxes of sneakers in the back of the trunk, back seat, clothes, everything. Like I was still on the contract as a teacher, and it wasn't no waiting. It was like you had to come right now, you know. So I went up, talked to the principal, and said, I gotta go. I gotta take this job, and left, you know, and not knowing what I was walking into, you know, and you know, being, like you said, just familiar with my areas for, you know, at that time I think 34 years of just being in the area, and moving to Orlando, Florida, a place I came in vacation to, and you know, drove past these roads, going to Disney, Universal, Nickelodeon Hotel, whatever it was, and now just calling this home has been crazy. But I'll tell you, it still has some of the small town feels. It just depends on where you are. Like me living in Oviedo, like I feel some of that small town feel,
Yeah, for sure.
like back from the crib. So,
How you like Orlando? Like, is it everything you thought of, or are you surprised?
I'm surprised. Like I love it here. Like I love it here. I love the diversity. Like I grew up in towns where it's just white and black people. You know, so just now you got so many people of different
The pot.
you know, walks of life, and you know, our motto or slogan at UCF is "Live where the world vacations."
Yeah, for
sure. You know, we got so much going on here. Just the people here are nice.
I love diversity.
Family,
Yeah.
you know, I feel the family feel, even though it's a big city, and man,
When
so
your
much
boys
stuff
come
to
here,
do
I'm
too.
sure. Yeah, when your
so
boys
much
come
to
here,
do.
they lit.
I done seen Rod Wave in concert, and Gunna, like
It's a lot.
Kurt Franklin type tribute, like
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans,
With
like,
Magic
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Magic
comedy,
Games,
yeah.
like, so that part is just, I'm spoiled. Like I left small town, and
Came to the
I want to be here forever. Like if I ever
I
had
know.
to leave, like
Yeah.
I don't know what's the next city. I'm gonna be angry. you know?
How much like do you? How can I say this without being rude to like your small town? Like, do you ever see yourself like actually moving back, or you be like, nah, no way?
Never.
You get too because it's.
But I'm
to
sure
me,
you're
I
glad
feel
you're
the same
from
way.
there. You like
I'm
roots.
happy
you
that
know what I'm saying?
shaped me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Being that
100%,
shaped me. But
100%.
do I want to live there again?
I feel the same way. I'm from. I was born in Fort Myers, Florida, and Fort Myers is like really where I was born, raised at. It was real poor and rural, and then we moved to Connecticut, like a little small town in Connecticut. And I remember, like my parents, you know, they were split up, and we were moving everywhere. Another story. And we moved here like at 13, and I could not believe we were in Orlando because I never got to go to theme parks, but I knew there was theme parks here. Which I didn't go to theme parks till I was 19 anyways, but so I could buy my own ticket. But regardless, like now that I got my kid, my son's so spoiled. He thinks everybody go to Disney every day.
Yeah,
I'm like,
for
nah, cuz so this is, I be like, nah, this ain't regular, but he enjoys it, and it's I just don't see myself leaving diversity. Food, I love
the
food.
old bro.
I can have whatever food I want
You
here.
go drive 30 minutes and do something different. Like
Yeah.
it's fun, man. Like, and I hate TikTok. I love TikTok, but I hated that my kids on it because man, that first thing they did when I moved here was
Things to do in
found
Orlando.
a McDonald's on International.
Yeah. Biggest one in the world.
$60 and McDonald's on
Facts.
It's
pizza
good
and
McDonald's,
chicken
man.
and waffles.
Yeah.
But we can say we did it, but I love that, and it makes my job easier too with recruiting, living in a place like Orlando.
For sure.
It's not traditional like a college town. Like you're in a major city, but has a college town feel too. So I love it here, man. This is a great place.
So you are the executive director of recruiting now. When you got here, though, you were the DPP.
Assistant DPP.
Assistant DPP. If you could tell us what DPP means and what that is.
So
as an assistant.
Director of player personnel. So you're kind of like in charge of recruiting the roster, managing that. So as an assistant, I was just in scouting. You know what I mean? Just looking at film, recruiting guys when they came on campus. So just a gradual growth. You know, just trust within the staff and. Doing pretty good at my job, you know, and coach rewarded me with a title change. So, like for me now, I'm just kind of in charge of how we recruit the guys, not so much, you know, we still look at film and stuff like that, but mine's the strategy behind recruiting the guys versus the other part of it. So It just works well with our staff. We got a guy who's in charge of the scouting part of it, and then you have my part of it, so it works, and I enjoy it. Like, I don't feel like I go to work.
I know, yeah, I know.
I don't feel like I go to work, bro.
That's the best
like,
feeling.
When I was teaching, like, I ain't want to get up in the morning to go do that. I wasn't a teacher who coached. I was a coach who taught, and looking back on it now, like, my students didn't get the best me, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't what I wanted to do every day.
Sure.
So I'm doing what I want to do every day now. Like, I enjoy it.
Going from the high school level to the college level, as far as now you only coach, you're not teaching, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know you're saying you do what you want to do, but as far as the schedule change, I know you're probably waking up early anyways as a teacher.
Yeah.
But I know you guys,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in here cutting, these guys got meetings at
know,
7,
yeah,
8, and I
I
got to be
know.
in here 5 in the morning cutting these
I
guys.
can only imagine.
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? So how was that changed? Like, was that a shock for you? Was that hard in the beginning, or are you just getting up and going, you was already used to it?
It was just what I had to do.
Yeah.
So it was hard. Just a living dynamic wasn't the best when I first moved here, so I was up a lot of hours. You know what I mean? So just trying to figure it out, but I was blessed, bro. Like, I ain't care. Like, I'm
doing what you love,
college
man.
football.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, that's such an important point. Like, I think the glass half full and the glass half empty applies to everybody in life. The give and
Right.
go, the push and pull. And if you like hold on to the glass half empty, life's gonna be so hard.
Right.
And like as you begin to grow, like you said it best. I love my job. He loves his job. I know you love your job. You find that sweet spot eventually after 20 years of you putting work in. Really, if you think about it from the story you told us. It's like you finally got an opportunity and it's so fruitful, and they don't see that you seeded this, and now you're reaping it, but you seeded it over a long time.
I'll say this: it was hard. Like I said, jumping out the porch, like moved here and I emptied out my teacher retirement. Like I emptied it out. Like I was like, man, it's we either look like an idiot or a genius when this thing's over with, and
Amen.
I still might be an idiot when looking at my teacher retirement going. You know what I mean? So. It was like 30 grand, and I ran it down to $900. Ran it down to $900.
How quick?
Man. And
Quick?
yeah, like it was hard, but it is what it is. Bro. I bet on myself, bro.
And you know what's I think talking from a fatherly perspective, it's like, having your children, I'm sure that motivated you so much too, because you don't want them to go through hard times. Like. One day you'll have a kid and you'll see, like, you'll be like, nah, like, if I gotta be there to this time and I gotta do this and do that, I have to go through it, not them. And I think that's it's dope, bro. For real.
The battle I had was, is it worth chasing, I guess, the bag, you know what I mean? Or what could be at the end of doing this versus not being there every day. Like, that was the battle that I had. But it's, it is what it is. Like they support it. Like in the beginning when I moved here, I would call them, "Hey, Keegan, Cam, Cage, y'all good? Y'all need me to come home? We good, pops. We good." So stayed. You know what I mean? And I feel like I made the right decision, and it's gonna take me where I need to be. You know, so I've been blessed. Like the phone rung a lot last year. People like wanting me to come and work for them, but. I love being here. I love Coach Malzahn. I know the phone will keep ringing. I never want to leave. Like I want to be here. Like I want to be here. I don't want to leave Orlando. I want to be doing this 10 years from now, sitting here in the bigger barbershop. Talking about.
Hey, 2,500 texts. I know the phone ringing. I said, I mean, I put that out there. I said, yo, he got 1,800. He beat you by a lot, bro.
Yeah, I never met somebody that beat me. Every time I get into that debate, it's the same thing, and that's the first time I got beat.
Listen,
On camera.
I know the phone ringing. How do you maintain work balance, faith, and all that at this point in your life? Do you feel like it's getting a lot easier in that concept? Like is becoming easier, or you're getting more time management from something else?
It's tough, man. Like I wish I could go to church more. You know what I mean? Like be more intentional with doing that. Like even though I'm not going to church, I feel like I can be more intentional about being present when it comes to being in the Bible and being with God, but I lack there. I lack there. Like I lack there a lot. Like I pray, but I need to be in the Word more too. So I like being in church though. I like church is different for me.
Something
like,
feel different when you walk out of there.
You know what I mean? So during the off season is when I go to church. But with the season starting now, getting routine, and at 9 o'clock service, I'll be able to hit before we have to do meetings on Sunday. So
I'm a member of this church, Elevation.
Yeah.
And my boy, they have a campus here. My boy's like, he's like one of the ushers there, and he's like, Stephen Furtick is a great pastor. And he's like, but it's with my kid, with my schedule, my life right now, it's so much easier for me to go on that YouTube live and worship there from 9:30, 11 while I'm still doing things around my house. I got my headphones on, I'm worshiping. My wife's like just looking at me. I'm like, I'm in church right now. But you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I understand your point of view.
I gotta be in that environment.
No, I agree,
You know what
because
I
my
mean?
boys every day, he's like, yo, bro, you coming tomorrow? I'm like, yo, bro, I'm busy. So I agree with you, because it's like, I think I'm at that point now where like, I gotta go to the actual location, you know, especially bring my son with me, because he always
I mean,
asks
even
me.
if it's not every Sunday.
Not every Sunday, but
what
I
I
can do
tell
it once a
people,
week, yeah.
what I tell people all the time, like, I'm Muslim, bro. I pray 5 times a day. You think I started praying 5 times a day as soon as I decided to devote myself? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I started with, before I leave the house, pray. Okay, that got easy. But when I get home, before I go to sleep, pray. Okay, then after you're doing 2 a day, you start being like, I can do the rest. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I'm making time for these. I can obviously do it. So I tell people all the time, bro, just start with 1. You know what I'm saying? And now I go. He knows every Friday. I try every Friday. Most of the time I do, to the mosque right there. You know, it's called Jummah prayer. That's like our Sunday. You know, and I make it there. But it started with just one at a time, and then you start missing it when you're not there. You know, sometimes I'll take cuts during that time because I have to.
Right.
And I'll be like, I'll feel guilty. You know, I'll be like, I'm missing the word. You know what I mean? So just start once, bro. You know what I mean? That's it. Just go one time, and then you'll start. It'll just start going, bro.
Yeah, I'm used to the schedule now. Like I know what it looks like. My balance is working my boys. Like if I got some free time, like
Man, I feel the same
my
way.
boys, I got a girl now too, so like that's there too. So
For sure.
got
I mean, out of all the coaches, he probably gets the least amount of haircuts. Honestly. Honestly.
I believe
I know he don't got no time, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be like, dang, I need to go see Mo. But
Yeah.
it's just like I'm gonna go see them like every chance I get, and now just adding another dynamic to it. My girl, she got 2 kids too, so it's cool though. Like I enjoy where my life is right now.
Alhamdulillah.
That's
That's
incredible.
awesome.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah,
That's
man.
great.
Real quick, I know networking is so important. That's kind of what got you here. If in a few words, nothing crazy. I know you can tell us a million things on how it happened, but how did you get your name in that room? Was it a person specific, or do you think it was a buildup of all these 20 years of you just constantly, like you said, being a people person?
That's it for me, man. Just being good to people. I think that takes you everywhere you need to go. Like if you got a good heart and you good to people, you genuine, everything else will take care of itself. And that's what I've always been. Like even as a young kid growing up, I remember I would get in trouble when I got home during the winter time because I gave my jacket to kids who didn't have jackets. Like this has been my personality since I've been young. So that's just who I am. And just being good to people and working hard got me to where I am now. So. And that goes with my job as well. Like for me, like I recruit, but I'm building relationships. Like even some of the guys I don't get, I'm still cool with them, you know? So, and we still talk, I still check on them because I built a relationship. So just being good to people and building meaningful relationships, that takes you a long way. And then, you know, your name gets out there through that. Like, you know, this guy's really good at what he does.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, you treat somebody bad, bro. You never know what that person's gonna be.
Nah.
Something as simple as, for me, you speaking on being a bad kid or whatever, I got trespassed from my high school when I graduated. That's how bad I was. When I pulled up to a game, they said, Mo, come here. I didn't know what was going on. They trespassed me from my high school.
Yeah.
You know, and then, because I was really that bad in high school. I got trespassed when I was 18, right after. The next year that I went to go see a basketball game. And now they see me doing my thing, cutting status people, you know, being a team barber, showing up places, and you know, like my best friend Zach Barrett, shout out Zach. He's the offensive coordinator at Timber Creek, and he went and he knows Mosa. I plugged him in with Mosa, and then when he went to the game, when he went to the 7-on-7 you guys had there, he was like, Mosa was like, oh, that's Mo Boy. So he calling me like, yo, you know Mathis? Yo, why my dad coached here, and everybody's saying, oh, it's Mo's boy. It's like, how the hell they don't know who I am through my dad? He was just like proud of me.
Yeah.
And it's funny going to my high school sometimes and the way they treat me now, because now I'm untrespassed.
Right.
And the way they treat me now is like, they be asking for tickets. And these teachers, like, I remember some teachers told me I wouldn't be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And now I'm pulling up and they're like wanting me to be on the sideline, talk to the kids, which I do. I love doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm very happy I'm there now. Like you said, I'm not the same person I was when I graduated. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to hear that, bro. For real.
That's probably such a hard moment in life, is like when people judge you on your past, because you can change so much in 6 months. It really comes to commitment.
They almost can't help it though. It's
and
hard.
I imagine, but it's hard because you're judging a book by its cover, and it's like you're not giving a chance for that flower to bloom.
But I'll say this though, for me, like you can't blame nobody but yourself, because you put that out there. You know what I mean? So, like for you gotta continue to do all the things differently to show them you're something different, you know. But I can't be mad at nobody for thinking when they think about me for stuff I did in the past, because I did it. You know what I mean?
Whether you were 15, 16, no matter.
34, 35.
I'm only laughing because I'm staying quiet at the camera. Like, hey, I can't.
Yeah,
legalities. I agree.
It is what it is. Like, I put that on film. Like, that's who I was at that time. Sure. But I don't mean that's who you got to be right now. So, but it is that. It's growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of almost like like if you look at a tree, like a tree is rooted so much deeper than you think.
Right.
Sometimes it's rooted more than that tree stands so tall, but you don't realize how long it took that tree to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes all those things that build you who you are today, you know, that rooting came from the failure and getting, you know, in trouble and trying to figure. And sometimes it was just pretty much lack of guidance. And you're there like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? You just didn't know no better. Yeah. So that's pretty dope to hear that from both you guys, man. Because anyone watching, man, like, don't quit because you're having a bad day. Just push through. Things will fall in place. God will organize your life. Just keep pushing, because I can only imagine, man. That's tough.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Yeah, so when you started coaching, did you expect yourself to be off the field once you got to this level, or did you want to be on the field, or do you like where you're at?
For me, like, you know, coaching was, when they called me, when Gus called me and said, I want you to be in my recruiting department, I was like, yes, because that's what I've done when I was at Frederica Academy. Like, once I started working there, I did start recruiting, you know what I mean? And now I'm doing it at the college level. So that was cool, man, just being in, like I see myself being off the field. And like right now, the off the field guys are making crazy money.
Oh, really?
Being a GM, like the GM at University of Alabama makes $800,000.
Oh, wow.
You know, GM at Texas makes crazy money. Texas Tech makes crazy money. So, you know, shout out to Courtney and James, two guys I look up to in college football. So, you know, that's what I want to be one day. I want to be, you know, the GM at one of these schools and try to take over college football.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, I see you doing it, bro. Like, since you've been here, you know what I'm saying? I told you your name ringing bells out here, bro. Like, you're doing your thing, bro. I'm really proud of you, bro. Like, it's incredible to see. You've been here for 3 years?
3 seasons, yeah.
Were you here since Gus first got here?
Nah, I came the year after.
Year after? Yeah, man. I mean, I've seen the come up for you, and I've seen the team grow, the recruiting. I mean, every year you guys are beating your last year's class. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy that you say that, because I don't feel like I'm doing nothing special, bro. Like, I don't know.
Special.
Like, it might sound crazy. Like, I don't know that I'm doing a good job. So for like, you know, other people to tell me that, like,
okay, well, I'll tell you this.
Take it, you know what I mean? Because I'm not satisfied with it. Like, I don't know if I'm doing it.
Bro.
I get mad when somebody decommit. Like, I can't sleep.
Yeah, I get it.
I
get it. Well, I grew up here, bro, and I remember when we were in the maybe Conference USA back in the day. You know what I'm saying? My boy Zach that I mentioned earlier, his dad was a quarterback coach here, and you know, his last year here, they were 0-12. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't get anybody to go to those games. And then, you know, other guys came in, and then it built up to Gus being here. And, bro, what's going on now? I mean, we're in the Big 12, you know what I'm saying? And what you got, the talent you guys are bringing, the talent that I'm cutting is not the same talent that I cut when I first started cutting UCF football players.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, no offense to them, I've seen the growth. And I'm seeing the new commits now, and it's just insane, honestly. When recruits are in the city, it's just, I've never seen talent like this walking around Orlando, or just having a UCF on their top 5, and it's incredible. It's a big shout out to you guys, bro. And yeah, just all you new coaches, man, all you guys, what you guys have been doing is beautiful here, bro. It's amazing.
Got good staff, man. We got really good
seriously,
staff.
Shout out to Kmart, shout out both Kmarts, shout out everybody, man, T. Reed. yeah, I'm just so proud of you guys. I'm super proud of you, bro.
Appreciate it, brother.
Just want to give you flowers before we really wrap this thing up, man.
Bro.
I really appreciate you for what you've done for me, for us the other day.
Thank you.
Every year.
Yeah, no.
Keep going, bro. Honestly, I can't wait. This is episode 4. I can't wait till episode 100 something. We bring you back and we somewhere else. You know what I'm
It'll be a
saying?
little bit wider. But,
Yeah, seriously.
yeah, I can't
we'll
wait.
have a flashback.
Man. Yeah, flashback.
You know, man. Seriously, bro. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Nah, man. Again, Coach, man, we appreciate you, man. You have an amazing story about motivation, purpose, pushing through like adversity. Coming from a small town, moving to a big town. I think to anyone listening, man, honestly, man, it's an incredible story. You guys gotta just stick to your path and find your purpose, man. It'll fall in place in God's grace.
To my own kids, man, I love y'all. Proud of y'all, man. Like, y'all give me purpose every day. Y'all my why. Just keep grinding in the classroom, on the field. Chase your goals, man. I'm proud of y'all regardless. As long as y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing. I don't care if you pick up another basketball, football, baseball. As long as you continue to be good kids, I'll always be a fan. I'm y'all #1 fan, man.
Love that, bro. Love that, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
For real.
Love, bro. For real. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate
Going
y'all.
over, break it, dancing, break it.